We bring you the latest edition of MBC News with me, Kumbukani Piri. Our top stories. The first couple joins the rest of the world in celebrating International Workers' Day today. Malawian companies urge to reduce reliance on road transport and leverage on water transport. China implements a zero-tariff policy on imports from all African countries that have diplomatic relations with Beijing. Well, I'm glad you could join us. President Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika has reaffirmed his commitment to rebuilding the country's economy and ensuring stability in key sectors, including fuel supply and foreign exchange. President Mutharika was speaking today at Sanitation Palace in Blantyre during a meeting with Malawi Broadcasting Corporation MBC Director General Brian Banda. During the meeting, Professor Mutharika emphasized the need for result-driven leadership, stating that his administration remains focused on delivering on its promises. Details in this report.
Speaking Friday during a meeting with Malawi Broadcasting Corporation Director General Brian Banda at Sanitation Palace in Blantyre, President Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika emphasized the need for result-driven leadership, stating that his administration remains focused on delivering on its promises. Mutharika noted that government efforts are currently directed at stabilizing the economy and improving the livelihoods of Malawians.
We're working on the forex thing to tell people not to panic whenever there is a hiatus somewhere in the delivery of oil or fuel. We have the situation in the Middle East, which is affecting every country in the world because of what's happening there. So we are no exception, but we are doing our best. There is fuel now here, and there will be fuel for the foreseeable future, and we are building the economy, and there will be forex here, and the economy will continue to grow.
He also commended MBC's new leadership for its commitment to performance, urging the Director General Brian Banda to maintain these high standards. Additionally, the President addressed rumors regarding his health, asserting that he is in good spirits and advising Malawians to ignore rumor mongers spreading false claims that he is receiving medical treatment at Donald Gordon Hospital in South Africa.
I feel sorry for these people. They have been saying this since 2016, you remember? One time I died in America, you remember? I must be a cat with 9 lives, so no, it's silly. Actually, I'm in good health. So many people have wished me dead, many of them in this country. I remember TB Joshua. I thought I was going to be dead by December 2016. I'm still here. I think he's 6 feet under the ground himself. So never wish somebody dead. You never know who's going to die first. You never know who's going to die first. But I'm fine, yeah.
Do they bother you?
No, not at all. I think that's silly.
Yeah.
I think that's silly. It's stupidity. Yeah. Wishful thinking. No, they never would. I think they're laughable, actually. Yeah. I don't know what the motive is. We all are going to die one day anyway. It's a matter of when and how. Everyone's going to die.
Chisomo Break, MBC News, Blantyre.
Well, you can tune in to the full interview the President had with MBC Director General Brian Banda at 8:30 right after this newscast. Now, President Mutharika and First Lady Professor Gertrude Mutharika joined the rest of the world in celebrating International Workers' Day, also known as Labor Day. In a statement released earlier today, the president says it honors the extraordinary resilience and dedication of every worker across the nation, from hard-working farmers to diligent civil servants, as their effort is the engine of Malawi's progress. The president further explains that his administration is committed to protecting workers' rights, fostering fair workplaces, and investing in skills development for the youth by aligning education with modern demands, supporting local industries, and encouraging entrepreneurship. Malawi is building a workforce ready to lead its industrialization drive. President Mutharika has called on employers to lead with fairness and empathy, and for workers to continue serving with integrity and excellence. Our call has gone out to employers to create a more conducive environment for employees in order to maximize productivity and promote national development. Minister of Labour, Innovation and Skills Development, Joel Chigona, made the call in Lilongwe at Masinta Ground during activities marking Labour Day, commemorated on the 1st of May. The minister represented President Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika at the event. Charles Wahara reports.
Chigona pointed out that it is a concern that some private companies still do not abide by labour laws, adding that government will ensure that those involved are brought to book. The minister further said government will continue working hand in hand with the Malawi Congress of Trade Unions and other organizations representing workers to ensure progress in protecting workers' rights and safety.
As a government, we are taking very strict measures to make sure that employers are treating employees very well. As you are aware, we have done some inspection that really shows that other companies are not obliged to the law. So if they don't oblige to the law, the law will take its course.
Meanwhile, Kelvin Jadunda, president of the Malawi Congress of Trade Unions, MCTU, welcomed government's position, saying it is key to addressing workers' concerns.
We really appreciate that step, because when we look at the world of work at home, there are several employers in Malawi who don't follow the law. So when it comes from the Ministry of Labour, as a mother ministry, we think these employers are going to abide by that.
This year's Labour Day is being commemorated under the theme Achieving Decent Work and Inclusive Growth through Promoting Workers' Rights and Skills Development. The event was held at Masinta Ground in Lilongwe. Charles Wahara, MBC News, Lilongwe.
Minister of Local Government Ben Piri has launched the Presidential Executive Order No. 2 on sanitation and hygiene in Zomba City, with a call for collective responsibility to make the city clean. The order is aimed at promoting hygiene and sanitation across the country. Chisomo Break reports.
The launch attracted several stakeholders in the city, marking a turning point for Zomba City Council's drive to improving sanitation and hygiene at a time when cholera cases are surging.
We have taken it upon ourselves to make sure that the executive order is adhered to the fullest. This will help that our communities will be clean. As a result, we will reduce prevalence of diseases like cholera, malaria, and others, as aware that it is less costly to prevent than to cure. So we thank the President that he had to wake us up, and we will no longer sleep, but make sure that our councils adhere to the executive order.
Minister Piri could not hide his disappointment with some stakeholders, including Malawians of Indian origin, who did not participate in the initiative despite being invited.
The executive order did not spare anyone. It is an executive order for us Malawians. And oftentimes when you listen to them, they say we are Malawians, we were born in Malawi, we've been here for so long. But look, we called on them, and I can assure you and confirm that the city invited every resident of Zomba. To some extent, they were even visited in their shops, but they decided to stay away. That is uncalled for.
Zomba City Mayor Councillor Christopher Jana stressed that the launch of the executive order was not ceremonial, but a testament to the council's resolve to turn Zomba a cleanest city in the country.
I will engage the partners, even the people from Somali State Council and the residents, that guys, this is the time now to make our city clean and make it smart. So I'll take advantage, I'll take my initiative going to them, meeting them frequently and remind them about the program.
The ceremony was characterized by different activities aimed at raising awareness to the people about keeping their spaces clean. It started with a cleanup exercise around the bus depot, Namiwawa Road, Pep Stores, Ring Road and Ginkano Ground within the city. Chisomo Break, MBC News, Zomba.
Now, Minister of Transport Jappy Muhango has urged Malawian companies to leverage water transport, citing its efficiency and cost effectiveness. Muhango made the call during a tour of Malawi Lake Services Limited in Monkey Bay. He expressed concern over the continued reliance on road freight for large cargo, despite a 2017 transport master plan that mandated increased use of water and rail transport for heavy goods. Dave Umar has a report.
Speaking after touring Malawi Lake Services Limited in Monkey Bay, the Minister of Transport, Jappy Muhango, cited a 2017 Transport Master Plan as one way of ensuring longevity of Malawi roads. According to Muhango, the Transport Master Plan, which was initiated by President Professor Peter Mutharika, encourages use of water and rail transport in transporting heavy goods. During the visit, the minister noted with concern that Malawi Services Limited possesses vessels capable of hauling large quantities of cargo, yet many companies continue to rely on road transport.
In 2017, the government of Professor Peter Mutharika launched the National Transport Master Plan. The plan entailed a number of things. One was that we begin to move goods from the roads to either rail or water. I did not realize that, particularly here, we've got such capacity that we should be able to move goods by lake. Very key vessels on the lake, Vipia and the Katundu, big vessels. That can take any load in this country, but we have still been insisting on using the roads. Quite surprising. So as a ministry, we will now be emphasizing on asking all stakeholders, particularly those that move heavy load, to utilize these vessels.
Chief Executive Officer for Malawi Lake Services Limited, Joseph Banda, said the unit is positioning itself to improve water transport in the country.
What we want to do as a management is to make sure that the company is brought back in terms of operation to the original glories. The entrepreneurs, those who patronized water transport those days, want to bring them back. Whatever we are doing it towards making sure that water transport is being patronized in a way that it adds value to the development of the country.
Malawi Lake Services, MLS, was established following a restructuring process where it took over lake transport operations from Motor Angel. It operates as the primary provider of water transportation for cargo and passengers on Lake Malawi. Dave Umar, MBC News, Monkey Bay.
This is MBC News, a reminder of our top stories. The first couple joins the rest of the world in celebrating International Workers' Day today. Malawian companies urge to reduce reliance on road transport and leverage on water transport. China implements a zero-tariff policy on imports from all African countries that have diplomatic relations with Beijing.
An accident doesn't just damage a car, it brings hospital bills, repairs, and pressure no one prepares for. Transport.
Malawi's agricultural export industry is growing. but trusted testing and certification are essential for export success.
As Malawi Mangoes, we are very excited with the news that Malawi Bureau of Standards will be accredited to conduct tests on the samples that currently we've been exporting to Spain to get the results.
That meant higher costs, long delays, and uncertainty.
With world-class equipment, we can certify locally.
An upgrade made possible with support from Trademark Africa.
Our test results are credible and comparable to those from accredited labs worldwide.
Certification from Malawi builds confidence in sourcing. Now, exporters are more competitive worldwide.
We continue with NBC News. Petroleum Importers Limited PIL has urged transporters and fuel tanker drivers to prioritize safety above speed in order to prevent loss of lives and property. PIL General Manager Martin Simuko made the appeal during activities marking World Day for Safety and Health at Work in Blantyre. We have a report.
Simuko described transporters and fuel tanker drivers as the backbone of supply chain and stressed the importance of strictly adhering to safety measures at all times.
What we want is for our drivers to go and deliver the product safely. We know that behind them there are families that are waiting for them, and for us, for them to bring the product, even though we might want the product to come quicker, but we want them to prioritize their safety first so that we can bring the product into the country. We know that the roads that they travel in, there are so many pitfalls, there are so many hazards, and also communities that the product that they carry is flammable and is highly combustible, and therefore if it causes an accident, it can burn the whole area, which is why we have emphasized that they need to be safe so that they can protect themselves.
Region Road Traffic Officer for the Department of Road Traffic Directorate Services for the South, Madariso Gunsalu, also urged petroleum transporters and drivers to, among others, ensure that their vehicles are always roadworthy, manage fatigue, and be aware of emergency and public risks after accidents.
Fuel tanker drivers are not just ordinary drivers. They carry cargo that is hazardous and risky as well. So that demands a lot of professionalism, it demands a lot of responsibility, and it also requires a lot of things, unlike the ordinary drivers, because a single accident involving a tanker driver, involving a tanker that is loaded with fuel cargo, can have very significant consequences to the driver and also to the community.
During the event, PIL also celebrated 0 accidents involving its petroleum tankers throughout 2025. George Banda, NBC News, Blantyre.
Government has unveiled plans to rehabilitate Chipoka Harbor in Salima, positioning it as a key transport hub, integrating rail, road and marine systems. Minister of Transport and Public Works, Japi Muhango, said this during a tour of the facility, including the National Oil Company depot at the port. Doreen Sonani reports.
Speaking after touring the facility, which has deteriorated over the past years, Muhango described his visit as a clear demonstration of President Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika's administration's commitment to restoring operations at the once thriving harbour. He said a key priority is dredging the port to address its natural shallow conditions.
You discover that once that is done, the cost of doing business will come down significantly. Similarly, fuel coming from Beira would become coming through Nsanje or the southern part of the country. by rail. That's what we want to do, and we want to do this as quickly as possible. This is going to protect, this is going to save our roads from the kind of damage that the roads are suffering as we speak today.
The minister adds that the rehabilitation of Chipoka Harbor forms part of the broader strategy under the National Transport Master Plan, which seeks to shift cargo movement from roads to more cost-effective rail and marine transport systems. Muhango said government is accelerating railway rehabilitation works, including the line from Mwami through Lilongwe to connect with the Nakala corridor. He added that plans are also underway to develop a new rail link from Mbeya in Tanzania to Songwe with support from private investors. Member of Parliament for the area, Salima South constituency, Madaliso Mazombwe, has welcomed the gesture.
I know the coming in of the minister, he has changed a lot here by his coming, because a lot of people have been waiting about this development, and we know that if this development be implemented, for sure this area is going to be changed.
Once revitalized, Chipoka Port is expected to reclaim its strategic role in Malawi's transport network, boosting trade connectivity while reviving economic activities around Lake Malawi. Doreen Sonani, MBC, Salima.
In international news, China has implemented a zero-tariff policy on imports from all African countries that have diplomatic relations with Beijing. The move is expected to boost exports to China as the policy reduces barriers and enhances competitiveness for African products. Telson Magombo has a report.
Amid its growing uncertainty in the growing economy, China has chosen to ensure win-win cooperation through the zero-tariff initiative. For experts, the zero tariffs will not only expand exports, but also drive local industrial upgrade, while equally positioning Africa as a production base for exports to China. Kenyan economist Bitangendemo believe this is a great opportunity for African countries who rely on agricultural products such as avocado, sesame, cashew nuts, cocoa, cassava products, among others.
If we want to maximally utilize this policy and it touches the people on the ground, because they have the technology, they have the machinery, and they want to work with us to process agricultural products for the market in China, we should now, in every county that has avocado, for example, have an incubator where they come process that into oil, package it, and ship it to China.
In Nigeria, where abundant agricultural resources and dynamic business community flourishes, the policy will not only aid government diversification, but also reduce reliance on single resource export.
A lot of time we lost opportunities due to high cost of exportation and processing systems. But with the inception or incoming of the zero tariff from the China, I think it's a very good advantage for us to utilize it, whereas we need government support in order to meet up the requirement for exports.
According to Somali National News Agency, the Chinese government has historically supported Somalia infrastructure and development, and this initiative will generate immense economic momentum. Somalia, which possesses the longest coastlines on mainland Africa, is ramping up marine export sector infrastructure to supply the world's largest consumer market. Zambia, on the other hand, is geared to embrace the opportunity with more exports.
What you will find is that generally it will position Africa to be a supplier of good quality products, which will find its way in China. And China is a very big market. And if you supply to China, it means you enhance the value of trade or the volume of your exports. And that in itself is monumental in the sense that apart from just the value of the export, you get more and more people getting higher incomes and also being able to upgrade their production facilities. So it's really going to benefit Africa in a way that Africa can also begin to participate.
And in Malawi, the initiative is expected to conserve scarce foreign exchange as export volumes rise. For thin margin products like tea, coffee, nuts, makes Malawi cheaper against Asian competitors. With this expansion of China's zero-tariff treatment to all African nations, the barrier to the world's largest consumer market has been eliminated.
Well, that item also concludes this edition of NBC News. A reminder of our top stories before we leave. The first couple joins the rest of the world in celebrating International Workers' Day today. Malawian companies urge to reduce reliance on road transport and leverage on water transport. China implements a zero-tariff policy on imports from all African countries that have diplomatic relations with Beijing. For live news updates, visit our digital platforms by scanning the QR code at the top right corner of your TV screen. You are with me, Kumbuka Nipiri, and from all of us here, it's thanks for watching and good night.